должно быть total of. Okay. Well, we have just a few people here left. But nevertheless, I would still be interested to talk about it and tell you about what we do and why we do it and so on and so forth. Since it is year number 10 in RAMA's history, I wanted to make my presentation somewhat about RAMA, why we started, what we achieved, and show you some progress since 2002. Next slide, please. Oh, okay, yes. Association was initially thought of by several physicians, primarily in Boston, New York area, and the first person who started informal social group in Boston was Lyuba Vartikovsky, who is here in the next room with scientists. But association was not formalized until 2002. We had groups in Ohio, Kentucky, Chicago, Los Angeles, different places, but it was never formalized until 2002 when RAMA was incorporated. From that point on, the membership grew continuously, and we do not force people to become members or pay membership dues. Everything is done on voluntary basis, of course. So if you're talking about formal membership, we have 624 members. As far as a database of people, doctors, groups that we communicate with, it is more than 10,000 people. We work with people from all over the world. Of course, primarily it is in America and Russia, but there are also people from other countries. We have members in more than 40 states. We work in Canada, we work with students, medical schools, and I will talk about it later. Next slide, please. You do not need to read the entire page. I will just talk about the last 3 lines here. We have our most important goals. Number 1 is academic improvement. Number 2 is humanitarian help. And number 3 is networking. There is also goal number 4, but at this point we didn't do much in this area. It is political activity, representation of interests of Russian-speaking physicians in America. We've done some work, but technically we're not even allowed to do this, and we cannot work with like Congress because we have 501c3 and not 501c4 organization. But nevertheless, next slide, please. Here in this audience, we have Konstantin Slavin, who was one of the presidents of RAMA. I was the first president from 2002 to 2005. Then Dmitry Arbuch was the president of RAMA. Then Kostya, then Zhenya Khavkin, you met him yesterday. And then Yakov Elgudin was the president for the last 2 years. In fact, Evgeny Khavkin just walked in the hall here, one of the presidents of RAMA. Next slide, please. The people I just mentioned, they all work in the RAMA board of directors, and we also have 4 great women that work in the RAMA board of directors. It's Elena Polukhina from Minnesota, from Minneapolis. She is a rehabilitation physician. Dr. Lyuba Vartikovsky, that I mentioned earlier, as well as Dr. Lena Wasserman. She is here with scientists as well. And Dr. Larisa Rastad, she is in California. Next slide, please. Throughout these years, we had annual conferences. The first one was in Cleveland in 2003, and then we moved around the country quite a bit and been to many major American cities, and the last conference was in Las Vegas. Many of you were there, and Philadelphia this year is for the first time we have a conference here. Next year we're planning the conference in New Orleans, Louisiana. I hope you'll find time to come there. It's a beautiful city, great food, great fun. I think we'll have a very good conference there. Next slide, please. RAMA developed and started publishing a lot of different materials, and we started RAMA Journal, which we plan to develop into a full-scale scientific journal. We're looking for people for editorial board, for editor-in-chief, and we will advance this publication. We also publish RAMA Report, which is a newsletter, which is like a press release. We will be sending one out after this conference, somewhere in December. We also publish RAMA brochures. In fact, it is in your folders here for this conference, a blue brochure. We participate in all social networks, as you probably know. We have the website and do a bunch of other things. It is all important from many standpoints. We need to let people know what we do, why we do it, and how we do it. So those publications help. Next slide, please. We work with many groups, not just individuals, but also groups. Our first partner in 2005 was RADA, and you obviously noticed them in the audience. Then in 2007, there were several more groups appeared, like Russian American Nurses Association, Pharmacists Association, American Association of Russian-speaking attorneys, and at the same time, we talked with Russian scientists about forming a group, and in 2009 they started their own association, and now we have a conference of 3 groups together. We work with medical schools in America and Russia, with ethnic medical associations in America, and there are 58 of them. The most powerful are Indian, Chinese, several others. And I think I'm actually quite happy to say that Russian American Medical Association is probably the top 5 most active ethnic medical associations in America. And we work with many other programs, and I think the number of groups will be expanding, and it's expanding rapidly. A lot more people want to work with us now, since we actually have something tangible, something under our belt. Next slide, please. Big part of our work is observership program. Some of you participate in the program, and a lot more people are scheduled to be there. And they're present in several American cities. Cleveland is a big part of it. Cleveland Clinic, University Hospitals, Lake Health System. We have a part of the program in Seattle, internal medicine, in Chicago, in Indianapolis. We're talking about opening center here for pediatrics and pulmonology. And we have a confirmation from Houston, from MD Anderson Medical Center, that we can send people there for pathology observerships. Next slide, please. And basically, I mean, it is a big deal, because we let people participate in healthcare in America. They see how it's done. It makes it easier for doctors from Russia to see American medicine in real time, and it is easier for them to get a spot in the residency training program. We also do, I did not have this in my presentation, but not just individuals come to our observership program. We now started a program for groups. And just this year, we had a group from city of Surgut from Siberia. We also had a group from, we actually had 4 groups from Kazakhstan. They were here for 1 month each, and we plan to continue next year and for many years in the future. In January, we expect a group from Tomsk, followed by a group from Leninsk-Kuznetsky, followed by groups from Astana, Kazakhstan again, and this is just in January and February. There will be 3 groups. And this slide is about us going there. And we started doing this many years ago. At first it was fairly random, but now our medical missions formed into a very solid, scheduled work. For example, RAMA participation with International Children's Heart Foundation with Bill Novick from Tennessee. We go to Kemerovo 4 times a year, 2 weeks each mission. And the number of kids that we operated on is now over 100. So basically, one way or the other, we saved 100 lives. Those kids would have died otherwise. And then we started programs in Yaroslavl, in Leninsk-Kuznetsky, which is right next to Kemerovo. We're planning to start a program in Astana, Kazakhstan. We're talking about another pediatric cardiac program in Kaliningrad, in Russia. We got approval and confirmation from Bill Novick, from his group. They will work with us. And there are a bunch of other places where we plan to have another program. And it's like St. Petersburg, Ufa, Tomsk, Yeshkar-Ola. And it's not just words, it's real. I mean, these cities plan to work with us. Next slide, please. Again, I already mentioned some of it. Picture of Yaroslavl, picture of Russian map with Kemerovo highlighted there. Next slide, please. And just to wrap up my presentation, so you really have pictures to prove my words, just some slides from our recent joint mission to Kemerovo. In fact, this mission was unprecedented. It was never in the history of Russia that 2 teams from the same group went to the same region together. This trip was combined with ICHF, and 5 physicians went to Kemerovo to operate on kids on pediatric heart, and 4 people went to Leninsk-Kuznetsky, 90 kilometers south. And so, seriously, it was quite impressive. This is our group. Next slide, please. We worked with physicians in Leninsk-Kuznetsky, made rounds, talked to physicians, we delivered lectures, we operated. Next slide, please. We had a vascular surgeon, a neurosurgeon, a gynecologist. I did the general and laparoscopic surgery. Next slide, please. This is Vagram Agadjanyan in the lower picture. He is chief of staff of medical center in Leninsk-Kuznetsky, and I can say that we all know Svetoslav Fedorov, ophthalmologist in Moscow who developed a unique method of correction of short-sightedness. We also know Dr. Ilizarov from Kurgan, who developed his own unique method, and both methods are used around the world. And if you think about new Russian leaders in medicine, he is the one. In a very small city, he was able to build a center. I mean, it is not an American level center, I understand, but it is a very, very serious medical organization, far better than any local hospitals in the area. Another guy similar to him is Dr. Leonid Barbarash from Cardiac Center in Kemerovo. Those guys are giants. To create the medical centers that they have, I mean, it required a lifetime commitment. And they're smart, they're brave, and now they have the power. Fortunately, they're far enough from Moscow, so Moscow is not dominating over them that much. But again, you got to be smart and brave to achieve what they've achieved. I mean, this was incredible. Next slide.